This is NXT 2.0. Yes, guys, 1st of March 2022 review of NXT, damn it. LA Knight makes his way up to the ring. I like LA Knight, right? But I don't know, I felt like his promo was weird because he's coming out and he's presenting it like it's a fucking PowerPoint you do in school. It felt very amateurish, but I guess it is NXT and it is developmental, so maybe I can let that slide. I mean, it was a decent enough promo. Waller comes out. These two are having a last man standings match, so that looks like it should be fun. Backstage, we have Sarah rejecting Tiffany Stratton's offer for a new necklace. This is just a bunch of jobber women backstage. Some of the acting here was absolutely fucking atrocious. Really was. It really shows you why some of these people will probably never make it off NXT. Will probably belong there. You know, and this is like the part of the show where we just got like a bunch of promos. We got Tatum Paxley asking if she will learn the can she be a part of Diamond, whatever the fuck they're called, the crew is Diamond. I don't even fuck it. I can't remember. Right, can't remember. We have Braun Breaker and Ciampa basically talking about their match in the main event, which is these two taking on Robert Roode and the big man Dolph Ziggler. Just generic as hell. And then we get more stuff about fucking those two redneck guys trying to get their hole, essentially, which was pretty funny. Next up, though, we have Draco Anthony taking on Harlan. Draco Anthony, he tries his best, but this Harlan guy, they're booking him. He's a big fucking scary kid. Like, I mean, he's kind of like the sort of guy you would expect to be in charge of like the Aryan Brotherhood in like a TV show that's in jail or just out of jail, whatever. Like, you know, like he's like a sort of like, or like a henchman. He's just one of those guys, like, you know, like a big fucking dude with fucking tattoos, man. Jack to the gills, and he buries him here, which is yeah. Are we surprised? Then we have a wee hype package between the Creed brothers and Imperium. So obviously these two are going to. I mean, see Imperium, right? They've got like a cool kind of look to them, but they're just a bunch of bums, don't they? Like, I mean, they are. Like, Walter just looks, at least the other two, like jacked, like. But I like the fact they're like different languages and shit, and they're like, you know, we're foreign, so they're not just a bunch of generic white Americans or Canadians in tights that have as much. But I mean, they do look like, you know, somebody. I always go back to it. It's like, no matter how good you look in NXT, it's like it's still developmental, man. I know it's told NXT 2.0, but like, if these guys not been in NXT UK for like 5 years, maybe I'm wrong, it's an overestimation, but I just feel like is it not time to moving on now. Moving on now. Nothing can stop me. We then have Amari Miller taking on Lash Legend. This match has got 28,000 views in 6 hours. I'd love to know how, because it's really not that good. But yeah, like constantly in commentary, like, oh, Amari Miller might have bitten off more than she could chew. It's all right to trash talk, but if you can't back it up, then what are you doing? But yeah, Lash Legend here with the win. We then have Andre Chase taking on Von Wagner. Von Wagner. I mean, that's Andre Chase guy. He does his like university gimmick. I mean, it's actually not the worst thing you've ever seen in your life, but I mean, it's not exactly the greatest thing either at the same time. But you know, it's still a pretty funny, cool action scene, you know, and yeah, picking up the win here. And then we move on to a championship match. Ho-ho! We have Carmelo Hayes defending his North American Championship against Pete Dunne. I'm not a fan of Pete Dunne. I'm glad that Carmelo Hayes retained here. Don't know what happened to the other big guy. What's he called? Tony D'Angelo or something. Looks like he's been fucking jobbed out. But again, Pete Dunne, like kind of like Imperium. Pete Dunne has been on like the main roster for like 6 years. Well, not the main roster. He's been on like NXT for like 6 years across NXT and UK. And like, why is he ever going to? I know they've made the odd appearances in WWE, like that Survivor Series the 1 year, which was an awful idea, by the way. Like, oh, developmental actually has a chance. What? But yeah, Carmelo Hayes retains here. Are we supposed to care? Not really, but yeah, I think the right guy won in the end. Next up, though, we have Indy Hartwell taking on Indy Hartwell and Pazea Parata taking on Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. This was like a really goofy match. Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai win here. But even like the thumbnail, man, it was just fucking goofy as hell. And yeah, I mean, Indy Hartwell's facial expressions are pretty hot, like, so we'll give her that. Wendy Chu, I don't really get the whole gimmick where she's dressed up like if it's fucking sleepover, but yeah, there's that. Then we have Solo Sakaya, who's undefeated, taking on Gunther. Well, he's not undefeated anymore because Gunther fucking buries him. I mean, a hard hitting match, but I think the long term feud they're probably gonna do is Breaker against Gunther, two big bastards. But this is actually alright. I'm not gonna be biased and say it was shit for the sake of saying it was shit. I mean, it was actually two big guys hitting each other. Like, it looked alright. Next up though, we have Gonzalez and Jade taking on Leo and Farouz. Or what the fuck? Who are these guys? What's this? It's a Dusty Cup match. Gonzalez and Jade win. And yeah, we move on to our main event, guys. It is Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa versus the Dirty Dogs. Good match. This is actually alright. Like I said in recent weeks, the stuff that these four have been doing, even though I hate Ziggler and Rude on like Raw, I mean, what they've been doing on NXT isn't that bad. But then I always relate back to it. It's like, how can they be treated so shitty on Raw, but then on NXT they're treated as like main event players? Again, developmental, but yeah, well, there's a few things here where you think Ziggler's won, you think Braun Breaker's won, but Rude gets some fall breaks up the count. But it is Tommaso Ciampa. Is it a Shining Wizard? Have I got the name of the move right? I don't know. To be honest, I don't care. But he hits Ziggler with his finisher. I think it's a Shining Wizard. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, Ciampa and Braun Breaker have beat and defeated the Dirty Dogs. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. And until next time, I will give this episode of NXT 2.0. We'll give it a 2.5. You.